friends, it's Denise from God's Third Acre. Haven't seen you in a while, so thought I'd check in. I've got a lot going on in the kitchen today. We've got some ugly chicken to can. I canned some last night and I had 3 jars that didn't seal, so they're going in the crock pot. Russell is sick, so I'm making some chicken vegetable soup for him to enjoy and hopefully help him feel a little bit better. So let's get started on that because I'm putting that in the crock pot first. All right, let me get the camera turned around. Okay, so in my crock pot, I've already dumped my 3 jars of ugly chicken that didn't seal. I think my idea of fingertip tight and Russell's idea of fingertip tight are 2 different things. So it could have been that the lids weren't on, because when they came out, the lids were really loose. So we're going to have a lot of chicken. This is 3 pints of ugly chicken. So this is going to be heavy on chicken. All right, so to this, I'm going to add a can of carrots and a can of peas. So think about, I guess think about pot pie. But I am going to add a can of corn because we like corn. So we'll put some corn in there. And I'm going to put in some Augustin Farms dried or dehydrated potato slices. So we'll just layer a couple of hands full in there. That should be good. I put 6 bouillon cubes in the bottom because I'm just about out of broth. I've got this 1 box of chicken stock. So we're going to add the 1 box of chicken stock. And I've got my bouillon cubes in the bottom. I'm going to add some water to this. And then we need to get some seasoning. So I'm going to put in some parsley flakes. And some thyme, if I can get that open. Oh, this is the powdered thyme. So we'll put some thyme in there. Maybe a little marjoram. I like marjoram. I usually use it in beef dishes, but we'll try some thyme and marjoram. Parsley. This definitely needs water. How many of you do stuff like that? You just make it up on the fly. My sister can't understand that. She wants to have a recipe. But I've told her, I said, well, you just throw some stuff together and it'll work. But that's kind of how my grandma taught me to cook. And as you cook more, you learn more what seasonings go well with what foods. So anyway, we've got this on high. We're going to get this soup started. Hopefully that's going to turn out to be a good soup for us for today. And then I will bring you back in a little bit when I get ready to do the ugly chicken. Well, I wasn't going to film this part, but I thought I'd bring you over and show you what I'm doing, because the chicken breasts that we bought, we got these 10-pound bags at Sam's Club for a really good price last year. Obviously, you're not going to get a really good price this year. But they've been in the deep freeze. However, if you can see, they have some freezer burn on them. This part right here. So what I've been doing is just cutting off some of the little freezer burn section, and if there's a little extra fat, I cut that off. And I'm putting that in a pan here. And my poor little Chihuahua mix dog, I think he's only got about 8 teeth left in his head. He had to have some removed, some were missing when we took him in. So, oop, that was kind of a bit, but that's okay. So I'm just cutting off the freezer burn parts and the bits of extra fat and putting them in here, and I boil it up for him, and he loves it. He's gotten to where he doesn't want to eat the hard food anymore. So we canned up some food for him last year, and we've been using that sparingly with kind of mixing it in with his hard food so he'll eat it. And then we bought some softer food for him. So I've been using wide mouth, and then I'm running out of my wide mouth pints, so I'm using some regular mouth this time. Okay, and just as a reminder, they have changed the guidelines for chicken. It's now 1 1/4 inches instead of a 1 inch headspace. So you want to make sure you're leaving that 1 1/4 inches. I've got some little pieces I can kind of stuff in here and have, I think that's good. I'll leave that for my 1 1/4 inches. Now I have a question for you too. So I have my kitchen sink is really in bad shape. It was there when we moved here, and it's an old white porcelain one. And in the bottom, it's all coming, the porcelain's coming off, and it's just a mess. So we want to replace it. So we were looking at sinks yesterday, and I'm thinking I really want to get a single basin sink. Lisa from Sutton's Days has one, and I just think with the canning that I do and the food processing, that having, that jar's too full, having the single basin will make a big difference. So I'd like to hear from you what you do as far as your sink. If you have a single basin or a double basin, and if you have an apron front or a non-apron front. I'm just washing up a couple more jars here. There's one. And if you have stainless, if you have porcelain. So I'm looking for sink recommendations. Okay. I had a couple jars soaking in the sink, so that didn't take long to get them washed up. Hopefully that'll be enough. I guess if it's not, whatever's left I'll just throw in with what I'm cooking up for the Duke, because he will certainly like that. Or I could throw it in with the rest of my chicken soup. All right, let's see if we can. We might just make it here. And I'm trying to really press that chicken in there as far as it'll go to make sure that jar is full. Nothing worse than having a jar that's not full. Okay, so I've got, I think that jar can take another piece. And I think this jar can take another piece. There we go. All done. Okay, so let me wash up my hands real quick, and we'll get our lids on and get them into the hot tub. All right, now I'm wiping my rims with, I've got vinegar on this paper towel, and I'm wiping the rims really well because I don't want any of that chicken juice to make my seal fail. So just want to run around the rims really well. Because some of it definitely has some juice on it. Okay, so my regular jars here. I've got 6 regular jars. And these are ball lids, my regular ones. My wide mouth are ball lids, except for one that I have that I bought at the Amish store. And when I look at it, it's just a little thicker than the ball lid. It has a little bit of a lip here. The compound itself looks good. There wasn't a label on it or anything. It was just bulk lids. It does have the button top, which is great. And like I said, I used all of those Amish lids last night on what I canned, and all but 3 sealed, but I think the lids were not quite fingertip tight. So I'm having some arthritis in one of my thumbs, so sometimes it's hard to get those lids on just fingertip tight. All right. And I know everybody has a different definition of fingertip tight, but I don't crank them on or anything. I just put them on until they're as tight as my fingertips will let me go. All right, I'm going to put these into the canner. It's raw packed chicken. They're pints. They have to go for 75 minutes at my elevation, which I'm below 1,000 feet. You need to check the books for your correct processing time and pressure. I will be at 10 pounds of pressure. And like I said, they'll go 75 minutes. So when they get done, we'll come back and take a look at them. Okay, I thought I'd come over here. I'll show you my canner. I have a Miromatic. It's a 23 quart, so I can double stack my pints in there. I think I've got 11 pints in there. Oh, sorry. I guess I've got 11 pints in there. And we'll get away from that glare. You have to, when you look here, your petcock here, when the steam starts coming through that, a really steady stream of steam, steaming like a freight train, as Jenny Goff likes to say, when that's coming through, I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes, let it steam for 10 minutes, and then I will put my weight on it, which my weight is one of these disc weights. And it's got markings for 5, 10, and 15. So I will put that on, and then when it starts jiggling steadily, then I'll time it for 75 minutes. So like I said, we'll come back after everything's done. Okay, my friends, here's the moment we've been waiting for. They're out of the canner. Look at that, they're all bubbling. I noticed last night that the 3 that didn't seal weren't bubbling. So obviously the seal of the lid has something to do with that. I guess they wouldn't be bubbling if there's not the pressure there. And then these are the jars I canned last night. So that makes 9. Plus 11, and the 3 that didn't seal. So that's 23 pints out of about 23 pounds of chicken. So a pint's a pound the world around, as they say. Thanks for tuning in to me today. It's so good to be back doing videos again. So hopefully I'll be getting them out sooner, more frequently than I have been in the past. So take care and God bless.